senior GB News political commentator, and Ben Habib, former Brexit Party MEP. Well, I'm going to start immediately with you, Michael Cole. You were a former BBC Royal Correspondent. What's your view on, firstly, the way that it seems they're keeping something quiet? Obviously, they don't have the details, but do you think they're doing the right thing?
BBC cannot name anybody without running the very real risk of prejudicing any future prosecution and legal case that may arise. Under the Protection of Children Act of 1978, several felonies have been committed here. Of course, an accusation is not proof, and there has to be due process. But it would be wrong, completely wrong, for any names to be mentioned. You can see from Tim Davies' statement, he sounds very worried. The BBC will be sucking its teeth and wondering what's going on. Obviously, they've got in the back of their minds the names of Jimmy Savile and Rolf Harris. They want to do things right, but the wrong thing now would be to name anybody. That would be down to the Crown Prosecution Service, the police. What they may be doing is talking to the person concerned and seeing what way ahead there is.
Well, of course, Michael, there's no suggestion that this is anything similar to any of those that you've just mentioned. So we must be careful not to conflate anything with regard to that. Let's go to Suzanne Evans. She's a political commentator. Suzanne.
Yes, I absolutely agree with Michael. The BBC can't and shouldn't name this person. I'm finding I'm getting increasingly concerned in this day and age that the principle, the very, very strong and vital principle of innocent until proven guilty, is being gradually eroded away as more and more people are being convicted before they even go anywhere near a police cell in the court of public opinion. This is only an allegation. By all accounts, the allegations have been made by someone who seems to have various issues and problems. I think we have a situation here where it's only an allegation at this stage until the police have got involved, until anyone is arrested and charged. Then I think that person, as difficult as it might be for some people to stomach, but nevertheless has the right to privacy. It's an allegation. We cannot have a situation where people in the public eye, or indeed anybody, can be outed and named and shamed for the basis of one story that's been run in a newspaper that doesn't appear to be any police interest in, or in that basis evidence for at the moment.
Well, Suzanne, it's interesting you say that.
Very dangerous situation here.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned the police. Ben Habib, you had thoughts on that?
Yeah, so, I mean, it's not going to be much of a debate, because I agree with Michael and Suzanne on the principle of innocent until proven guilty and not to do anything that prejudices any unfolding investigation. But it is interesting to me that the mother, her first port of call, it would seem, would be to go to the press as opposed to the police. If I had a child who had been subjected to the kind of treatment that she alleges, the first place I would go is make a criminal complaint. And only if the police weren't doing their job would I feel the necessity perhaps to, blow the thing out of the water by going to the media. But I think we've got to be very careful not to put people on trial, through the media. And we have seen cases where that's gone disastrously wrong. And, I think we've just got to have this principle of innocent until proven guilty firmly in our minds.
Well, we saw what happened with the whole Cliff Richard incident. Nigel Nelson.
Yeah, I mean, an hour ago, I'd have agreed with all three of you. I think that when an allegation is made, that it stays as an allegation, and certainly whoever the alleged perpetrator is should not be named. Now the BBC have taken action and suspended him, I feel rather differently, that on that basis then we're all going to know the name anyway, because it'll become obvious if he's been taken off air who it is. So on the basis of that, I think, yes, now is the time to actually name him.
But what about the point that Michael made, that it could actually prejudice some sort of claim or some sort of case further ahead?
Well, I mean, the prejudice issue applies to everything, even if the police were involved. Do you then name at arrest? Do you name on charge? Or do you only name on conviction? One of the arguments has been that people are actually named, so if there are other victims, they feel they can come forward.
I understand you shouldn't name until you're charged. I think until the point of charging, I think you're obliged to keep it.
No, you can be named if you're arrested, but
you can
I think the issue here is that mistakes are made. Somebody has been suspended on the basis of an allegation, and I'm 100% with Ben. My first thought on reading this story was, why has the mother gone to the press and not gone to the police? That is a shocking dereliction, I would say, of your duty as a parent. If and she was talking about how, I don't want to push the blame onto her, by the way, but she was talking about how she wants this man to stop sending money so that her husband her son gets off crack cocaine. Well, what a ridiculous way to go.
I'm going to stop you there, Suzanne, because we don't know we don't know the gender of the child actually involved. Thank you very much, Michael Cole, former